Many years ago, my dad had a bakery. Some of the recipes they got from tramp bakers, candy makers. It was from one of these tramp candy makers that my dad got the velvet taffy recipe. The tramp bakers or candy makers would come in to the store, sell their recipe, and show you just how to make the product, and stay with you until it was you had perfected your product. My dad paid a tramp candy maker $50 for the velvet taffy. We think it's very good, and thought you'd like to know how to make it. This recipe is divided many times from the original. They made the taffy in huge quantities and used pounds of sugar and pounds of glucose. We use Karo because we can't get glucose. Glucose is a real thick Karo. They would cut the glucose out of a barrel. That's the way I explain it. And weigh it. Always have your ingredients assembled and measured out before you start. There's the sugar. And the cream I used half and half, and then half a pint of whipping cream. Charles made the candy hook. A hook is necessary because I don't see how you can pull this amount of candy without the hook. You use put the vanilla in the candy during the pulling. We use a marble slab to cool the taffy. At the store they had a marble table which had the top of it was 6-inch marble. In the wintertime that would be quite cool, and this would cool the taffy off. In order to get our marble real cold, we put it outside. You notice that's the snow. I keep the marble wrapped up when not in use. We put sticks around the edge of the marble to hold the candy in, and so it won't run off, because when it's hot it just runs all over. I have a knife ready, all wrapped with a cloth around it and tied on, and we wet that and run that around the sides of the pan to keep the crystals from forming up on the sides. I use this pancake turner to stir the candy. We stir the candy all the time it's cooking. Eric's adjusting the hook. We put it on the side of the cupboard and can take it off. When not in use, that'd be a deadly weapon hanging there. I grease the sides of the wooden pieces so the candy won't stick to the wood. I also grease the marble. Have this all done before we start. Adjust the sticks and I brace them on the side so they won't be pushed off. put the cream and the egg, mix it together, and put it in the candy before we start cooking it. I also put the paraffin in that time, right in the beginning. Putting some more sugar, and the gelatin is mixed with a little milk and put in just after the candy begins to boil. Connie's stirring. It takes a long time to cook the taffy, and you have to stir it all the time. We cook it to 252 in the winter, but if it's rainy or warmer, you have to cook it up to 253. Now, it's best to make the candy in the wintertime when it's cold. Marsh is stirring. After it takes almost an hour to cook it while you pour it out on the slab. Eric and Bob were helping. You can't scrape the pan. We later scraped it, and the boys pulled out little bits. It takes quite a while for the candy to cool. It's really very hot. And we're holding it so it doesn't push that one stick off. Bob's trying to see how hot it is. It hasn't cooled off any yet. Still too hot. I lift the stick, and some of it sticks, and so the candy sticks to the stick, and I pull the taffy to the center. It's only one stick yet. The candy will stick to the stick. Notice forms like a ball, flat ball. It won't run now. It's much cooler, but still too hot to handle. You have to wait until you can handle it, and you put butter on your fingers. I'm putting butter on the hook so that the candy won't stick to the hook. At first, the candy's pretty runny, and it drops off there, and you can't pull it out very much. There, it's coming out a little more. Little by little, you notice it's changing color. And pulling it out a little farther. Still getting a little lighter. It takes quite a while to pull. Everybody gets their hand into pulling because it's hard to pull the taffy. The taffy's, you really have to pull. I'm taking my turn. Pretty brave to leave that candy hang there like that. Now we're putting some vanilla in. We pour it in the ridges and then sort of push that together and pull. We put about that much in the candy 3 or 4 times. And then keep pulling. The longer you pull, the lighter it gets. And the harder it is to pull, but you keep on pulling as long as you can. They like to see if they can get clear to the dining room window. The dining room door, I mean. Bob's almost to the dining room door. And he'll divide in about thirds and swing the candy over the hook. There he is, clear to the dining room door. And he'll run his hand underneath and swing it over the hook. It's getting pretty white now. There's Jack. Notice him swinging the taffy over the hook. And he made it, and then he pulls it out again. Notice the strings on the candy. That shows it's getting nearly ready to stop. Put a little more vanilla in and pull some more. Now we're cutting off a strip. We pull that into long pieces, thin pieces, and put it on a greased cookie sheet. In the store, they would put it in real big gobs and press the strips together instead of little thin ones. We're going to cut the taffy with the scissors and wrap each little piece like you make kisses. It travels much better that way and keeps. You can pack it in a jar. That amount of candy made 3 trays of taffy. I'm cleaning off the pan, and the boys will pull it little bits of pieces. They didn't pull it very long. They wanted to eat it before it got white. Really tastes good. There's Jeffy in the back.